Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet Nick Bonanno. He is the owner and co-founder of Simple Media. He's going to explain why if you're not embracing new technology, you could be out of business. His incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I think I just met my brother from another mother who finds out that he started his marketing company just 1 year before I did, and we've gone through a lot of the same kinds of economies. And so Nick Bonanno is in the studio right now. He's the co-founder and owner of Simple Media. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Very cool. Well, we were just reminiscing. You started yours in 2007. I started mine in 2008. And my memory is just months after I started my firm, we go into the Great Recession. All right, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah?
I got married in March of 2007. And a month later, my wife and I started our company. So that was an interesting transition for sure.
Absolutely. So you weathered that. And then let's talk about the pandemic. I mean, there was not a rule book for that. How did you weather the pandemic?
That was really, really challenging as well. So the pandemic, I think, brought a great deal of opportunity. It was a little bit scary at first, but it made us sharpen our tools, and it made us definitely find new ways that we can be relevant in the digital marketing industry.
Okay, we gave in the tease, if you're not embracing new technologies, you could be out of business. What do you mean by that?
Well, technology is moving at a super fast pace. AI is taking over, GPTs, decoupled technologies, APIs, and I know that's a bunch of technical jargon, but a lot of companies that are still behind on those types of technologies may find themselves to be really behind very soon because those technologies move so much faster. They compound every 6 months. So we consult with companies that are a little bit behind the 8 ball and try to get them up to speed and consult with them on how they can contextualize these technologies for their companies.
And he's also an excellent freak, as I am. We don't take on business, and I know you don't, that you can't make happy. And you're an expert in some of the things that we aren't. So we're going to pull up your portfolio page and scroll down the portfolio page. And I think the first thing that caught my eye is that you're working with some really major brands.
Absolutely. We've been super fortunate to be working with some brands like Yum Brands, KFC, 7-Eleven, just to mention a couple. And working with them in a different type of capacity and coming up with ideas to spread their brand globally. We work with KFC in multiple markets around the globe. We come up with unique ideas to present their brand, and in their case, the kernel, and really gamify their brand. We've developed a social media filter that's a video game, very fun. We launched that in 8 markets globally. And people just have fun with fried chicken. So it created this newfound excitement around a food that's very popular here in America and has become very popular internationally as well.
So Nick, I'm speaking for myself. And if I represented a brand as big as KFC, I don't know if I could sleep at night. What kind of pressure do you feel when you work with a brand that big?
It's a lot of pressure for sure. But I feel like it's been incredible training for then working with other brands. It makes you very sharp, very disciplined, very tight timelines, but I've loved working with such big brand because they typically do have a structure and resources internally to support us in what we're doing.
And Nick owns an award-winning agency. We're going to pull up the case study page off of your website, and as we scroll down this, what caught my attention is Toyota. So tell us about the Toyota campaign.
Absolutely. So it's a social media campaign. and it's aimed at promoting something that's more of an internal cultural event, which is International Women's Day. It's also a social media event. And so we collectively with our team had an idea to put women at the wheel. So Toyota, being a car manufacturing company, is typically, if you think cars, you think guys, right? So how do we put women front and center? So we created the social media filter that I thought was very fun, and it was a great social media piece, and actually won a local award with the American Marketing Association. So we're very proud of that piece.
Congratulations. Describe what a great client looks like for you.
A great client is either a startup or a mid-market company, as well as a Fortune 500 company that is looking to innovate, is looking for ways that they can take advantage of emerging technologies for their business in a way that it makes sense. So setting up workflows, processes. A lot of times marketing these days is a function of customer service or IT or HR. So clients really don't fully know what they can do to take advantage of everything that's available to them and make sure that it's connected and configured correctly. Cybersecurity is also another huge deal these days. So everything that we do, every web application we develop, cybersecurity, speed, performance is top of mind.
Okay, let's talk about the process. When a client comes to you and they say, hey, I'm not happy with my website, do they usually say, Nick, you do what you do? Or are they saying, here's what we're looking for, this is the feeling I want to evoke? How does it work?
Absolutely. So some of it is business consulting in nature, and some of it is branding in nature. And a lot of times clients come to us with an ask, and we have to be able to decipher what that ask is, and then come up with our own solution or our own suggestions for the specific project. So some of it is not very sexy, quote unquote, because the nature of the business is just developing technology and connecting the dots. And some of it we get to have a lot of fun in because we get to really flex our creative muscles and bring solutions that not only are functional, but also extremely creative and visually pleasing.
I don't see a lot of agencies in Dallas-Fort Worth doing what you're doing, like the gamification thing.
There are agencies that will tactically do that. They can execute it, but to come up with the concept, the idea, and really have those business conversations with the client, which, hey, this is what we're thinking, but this is also going to move the needle and this is how it's going to go. So there's a great deal of consulting behind the agency service. And I would say that being a hybrid company, an agency that's backed by a consultancy, especially since the pandemic, has served us really well.
I know every great owner is only as good as his or her team. Why don't you brag about your team?
Well, my wife is my business partner, and she's the greatest business partner on earth. And then I have Rob Ewing. He's my managing partner, and he's also an amazing, amazing partner to have. My development team, my designer, my creative director, everybody is incredibly talented. And it's kind of funny because along the way, you start assembling core pieces of your team. And years later, you realize what kind of a rock star team you have and what kind of business you can tackle together. To me, that's the most exciting part, is having a rock star team behind the biggest and most complex projects we've developed over the years.
Nick, we only have a couple minutes left. So somebody's watching this and they say, I think I just found my agency. What's the process like when, is there an exploratory meeting?
Absolutely, yeah. So the first step would be to go to simplemedia.co and filling out our form, our web form on the contact page. And the first step is really a meeting, an exploratory meeting. And then from there, we establish whether we want to go more into a consulting route where we help put together a strategy, or if there is a tactical type of project where, hey, we have a website that needs to go live by the end of June. We already have all the content and this is what we need, and we need it to be secure. We need it to be HIPAA compliant. We need it to be, have cybersecurity and all the tools that are involved with it. Let's get started.
Outstanding. You've been a great guest. We're going to end with his website, which again, simplemedia.co, the great Nick Bonanno. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.